So today I'm going to tell you my story of how I got into UX design. I had many years ago built websites myself. I wasn't a developer, I didn't know code, but I used to build websites early in the days of the internet. And what I would do is I would do the whole UX design process. I just didn't know I was a UX designer. I didn't know I was a UX researcher. So I was doing those things without knowing it was a process. And in those days, there was actually no such job as UX designer, and definitely there was no jobs as a UX researcher. UX research is a very new field relative to UX design. So what I used to do is I used to build websites. So I had a furniture company and I wanted to build a e-commerce site, and I had no clue what a developer was. I had no clue what any of these fields were. All I knew is I wanted to build a website. So I started to look at other companies that were doing well, and that's called a competitor analysis, but I didn't know that at the time. So I was benchmarking against other websites, and I was using Microsoft Word. I was screenshotting images from larger websites, like for example IKEA, or in the UK we have Argos and all these companies, and I was annotating, which is something we do in UX design. I was actually putting comments and arrows in terms of the features I wanted in the website itself. So I was already working on a UX design process without actually knowing it. So I started to annotate, and then I contacted some companies, and I didn't even know they were called developers. I just contacted some companies and they told me that we can build this. I didn't know what coding was. I just knew that I need to get this website built. So I was working with these developers, and they started to build these websites. Sometimes it would crash, and I'd say, well, what is this alien language code? And they'd say, don't worry, we'll fix it, and they'd fix the bugs. So that was my early on experience with websites and UX design. And I started to continue with that journey as I ran businesses, as I worked for companies. I started to build websites, and then another skill I gained was graphic design. So I used to hire people to actually design, for example, menus for me, brochures for me, and it used to take a lot of time, a lot of money. I used to beg them, can you make edits, can you make changes? And I realized, wait a minute, why don't I learn it myself? So I used something called CorelDRAW, which was a bit like Adobe, but earlier than that. And I learned CorelDRAW for the first time, and I started to learn graphic design. So building websites and graphic design, those two skills came together for me, and I went into marketing. So when I was in marketing, I would design posters, leaflets, and that's a bit like UI. So I got all these skills as I went along my careers in my life. And then I became a lecturer at university and college, teaching the subject of business, e-commerce. So all these skills started to see stepping stones in my life of getting to actually become a UX design professional, and then later a UX research professional. So I started to put all these skill sets together, and I know and appreciate most people don't have those skill sets, but that's fine. You can have the knowledge of the process and the determination to get a job, which I have videos on how to get your first job. So once I'd gained all that experience of website building, e-commerce sites, I'm graphic designing, I'm also lecturing and learning the foundation of businesses, e-commerce success stories. I started to put that together, and I went for my first marketing job and then a graphic design job, and then I moved into UX design. And then that was the beginning of UX design. Even then, it was still early days in UX design. And then from there, I realized I really got a passion for the research side. So I started to look at research more. I'm a people's person. I love interviewing people. I love talking to people. I love building empathy and listening to people. Personally, in my personal life, friends, anybody has problems, I like helping them. And I use that skill set in UX research. So the designing bit in UX design, I really enjoyed that, wireframing. And when you build something, you feel amazing. So once you build a new design and a developer codes it, it goes live, and people start clicking it and using it. When you look at analytics, you feel amazing. You feel like, wow, I built this to help people, now it's helping people. People are using it. So I felt that really amazing feeling when I started to build those designs and work with the team to build that product and go live. So there's beta live and then there's public live. Beta live is when you go live internally and test it again with usability testing, and then public go live is when the whole world can use that new design or new feature or new iteration. So once I knew people are using my product, I felt incredible. I was so happy. And that feeling is really priceless. And that's what I would say is, don't just do this job for the money, do it for the passion, do it because you enjoy it and you're going to love it. So always keep that in mind. So I felt that I am doing something that really satisfies me, I really enjoy. And then when I was doing the research side, I enjoyed that more than the design side. I still do wireframing in my own time, but I really enjoyed the research side, analytics, qualitative data, quantitative data, capturing that, synthesizing it, analyzing it, writing reports. I love doing that. I'm a PowerPoint person and I love creating PowerPoint. I love presenting the findings to the team. So all of that process I really enjoyed. So I started to do that and I realized that is something that I really want to continue. So I went more into UX research until I got a senior position, and I've been a senior for a long time now. So now I use my skill to teach others and benefit others like yourselves. So if you have any questions, drop them below. And as a lecturer, I have the experience to teach you in simple ways, in everyday language, using technical language where it's needed, but keeping it simple. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow. And I'll see you on the next one. This is 1UX1.